reason I'm down here, guys, is
Uh-oh.
I had four mics and three cameras set up in the studio,
Uh-oh.
and it's been set up that way for like 8 months. And we've had exactly one guest, Paul Renee of Geloso. God bless, God bless Papa Paul. So I thought, this is a waste of equipment. So I brought one of the cameras and one of the mics down to my Barca Lounger. That way, Biscuit can return her triumphant return to the pod. Biscuit, wake up and look at the camera. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at
Bisky.
that.
Hey, that's quack.
Funny.
That's quack. That's quack. What a good old dog. Speaking of the podcast, last weekend, while I was doing some chores, I listened to a lot of older podcasts, and it's this podcast is pretty good. Yeah,
I think so. I
and
mean, the Wednesday warehouses, I think, are a lot of fun where we can cut out.
yeah, they definitely get more views or listens, and also y'all's audio has improved so much. No, I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding. Like I was listening to one from a few months ago, and Jordan sounds like he's in like the very, very end of a long cave. And Jen, you just can't hear it all. Like it's so
That's
I'm really
that's about right. Yeah.
yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wednesday Warehouse, the segment in Beer Business Daily where we talk about the week's news.
Mm-hmm.
And before we talk about strike, there's no article. It's just strike with an
Yeah.
exclamation point. You notice I use an exclamation point. We don't use those in Beer Business Daily often. So
I
when
was
we
surprised
do,
to see that.
yeah, when we
And
do,
all
Jordan,
caps.
in all caps, like screaming at you because
Grandpa
it's
was yelling.
yeah. I mean, it's a big deal.
Man, it's
It's
a
a
big
big
deal.
deal. I remember as a child when AB went on strike in the late 70s, because my father was in the business, and I remember my father just making hay in Houston. He was a competitor of AB's, and that's when Schlitz just came up and just killed them. Their production got cut in half. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen this time, but it's still a big deal if they go on strike. We'll know by Thursday. Uh, that's, leap year only comes around every 4 years, and leap day rather, and this contract only comes around every 5 years. So Brendan drew the lucky straw. To me, just kind of looking at the comments, it's hard to get the truth right
Yeah.
because it's all just rhetoric and everybody's rattling cages. The Teamsters really they want assurances that their people are going to be employed for the next 5 years. And with AB's lower volume, it seems like it's permanent. They may be wanting to close a brewery or two.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Although, I don't know. It's hard to say because honestly, people have told me that it is economical to have 12 breweries just because the shipping costs are so high.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
You know what I wonder? And maybe we need our legal eagle or like Mad Dog Madigan or somebody on the phone who knows more than I, but it would be completely crippling, obviously, if AB went on strike. It's not the same thing as Molson Coors striking at one very important brewery. And anyway, to hear Gavin talk about it, it's going really, really well. But anyway, I digress.
It's going great. It's going great. They're cutting orders at Andrews Distributing in Dallas, which is across the street.
Right. But my point is it would be so catastrophic for AB if this strike were to go through. Can AB sue the Teamsters? I mean, is that a possibility? Not that they
No.
would get anywhere in time, but
Why would they? No.
I mean, it's basically extortion,
But that's the legal
tortuous interference.
I mean, that's the whole point of strikes. No,
Well,
it's
sure.
encapsulated in labor law that
Yeah.
strikes are very legal.
Right.
And
especially with Biden as president. Yeah. Not that I'm not showing any political colors. I'm just saying.
yeah. But that's the point. It is extortion because if you're talking from labor side, the brewery's been extorting their workers, because AB's done very well from a profitability standpoint, maybe not in sales, and and inflation's gone up. So maybe they have, and don't we all want to be on the Stella Artois healthcare plan and not the Natty Light plan?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I've been meaning to talk to you about that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm wondering what plan are we on? Like if we had to name our health plan as a beer,
It's like midline, it's like
Yeah,
the
it's definitely
Budweiser plan.
it's a
definitely
solid
not
PBR.
a life elevated,
Yeah.
like Stella Artois.
A life elevated. Nice.
Yeah.
But one would think that because this has been building up for so long, that AB has some contingency plans in place. I mean, Molson Coors seemingly came out of nowhere, and they were able to bus people down to Fort Worth,
Bus
and it's
people
going
from the border.
and it's going.
I mean, trust me, just go to the
Yeah.
San Antonio airport. There are plenty of
As-
workers to be had.
They went to Home
I know. As soon as
Depot.
that came off, as soon as that came off, that sounded terrible. But they've got people there, and it's apparently going really, really well. That's hard for me to believe, just knowing. I mean, you think about the February freeze, the Fort Worth plant getting shut down. They talked about that for like almost 8 earnings calls, and it was a big deal. And obviously, it's not completely shut down right now, but it is a very, very important brewery that produces unique things in their portfolio, and they're making it sound like it's going fine. But
Well, I'll tell you this. I kind of made a big deal about how they can only make their Coca-Cola adjacent products there, their variety packs there. That actually might be a good thing because they can easily move back to a co-packer for that.
Yeah,
Whereas,
that's true.
a co-packer is not going to brew Miller Lite.
one thing that came out, I guess, over the past week was that these contracts with Coke are set to expire, and I think maybe Coke seeing that these can be shifted to a co-packer.
Yeah, yeah, with relative ease.
Yeah, and Constellation, I don't even know if they're producing Fresca mixed. I think it's New Belgium now. It might make Coke wonder, we love the system, the network that these are going through, but do we need a supplier to produce these, or could we just do the co-packing ourselves?
Or themselves, because they have their federal permit now, right? Like that doesn't make them a brewer, but they're Coke.
Yeah, I mean,
figure it out.
Absolutely, you're right. Both, I mean, they can, and they probably will by this time next year be doing it themselves. I mean, I think these deals with Constellation and Molson Coors and FIFCO were just to learn the business and learn how it works and get the network set up. And, I mean, their largest bottler is Reyes, who already has a license and is already in all the major markets. And whether it runs on their beer trucks or their Coke trucks, it makes sense to run on their beer trucks at the moment.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that other Coke bottlers, other than Reyes, can also license up. I think we reported that Coke and Pepsi bottlers are licensing up.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talk about Blue Cloud maybe shutting down, but I mean, it's just Blue Cloud is their bottling network. Their bottling network is Blue Cloud. It's one and the same, whether you want to call it that or not. Pepsi owns most of their bottlers, bottling system.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, do they want to keep going this way, or do they want to go with beer wholesalers? And like you said, Jen, there's definitely feelers out there, right?
Oh yeah. To sell the Hard Mountain Dew brand,
right,
to the beer network for the right price.
For the right price,
for the low price.
Where else would it go?
Well, low price of free, I would think.
Yeah. I wonder, since you're talking about Blue Cloud, I wonder, since Boston reports today, I wonder if that will come up on the call at all. It seems like the analysts don't really care about that anymore. They're like,
Yeah.
So
because it's not material.
It's so small. Yeah. At this point,
it's definitely not material to Pepsi. Yeah. I'm glad to see that, just to change gears, that Mockler Beverage is doing some expanding in Louisiana. I've known those guys forever. They're great guys. And I didn't realize they were that big, 15 million cases.
I didn't either. I mean, they've got 55% of the AB business in the state and a Constellation wholesaler. So, and and they said that they're, I got on the phone with Chris Davis. He's a really nice guy, really easy to talk to. And, I was like, are you guys, thinking of doing other things? Like, oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We love Truist. We love our bank, and had lots of praise, by the way, for AB. And, he was like, things they've done in the last 60 to 90 days. And I'm like, well, like what? Like I guess the Super Bowl commercials and the UFC deal going through, I guess. But like
Well,
he
and it can only,
named
they have a baseline. It could only go up probably from here.
right.
I mean,
But
it'd be
yeah.
worse if they bought it this time last year.
Right. Yeah. And he said interest rates were as much of a headwind to a deal than anything else. But
Yep.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they all think Thursday. Oh, by the
Right.
way, guys, Jordan knows this, but I don't know if you do, Harry. We're talking to Kyle Norrington on Tuesday.
Oh,
So
today is Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Sorry.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on the calendar. I always check the calendar. That's what I
I
do every
know
morning.
because so I have a reminder every 2 weeks to water my plants, or I won't water my plants. And then Harry goes in underneath or above that and he's like, remind Jen to water her
I
plants.
thought you put that in the calendar. Did I put that in?
you did.
Oh,
And
I was like, why is Jen asking me to remind her to water her plants in my calendar? Like, and then I thought maybe I did do that.
maybe Millicent did it. Who
I
knows?
didn't know. I mean, and it's not like I'm drinking. I'm not out here I don't know why I have these lapses in my memory.
It's the D9 beverages, Harry.
It's the D9 Biscuit. It's just getting old, right? Biscuit doesn't even remember her name if she ever knew it. So I love who wrote this title, Coke Ready to Think About Next Stage in Bev Alc. Is that
Me.
you, Jordan?
Yeah.
I knew it. I like that title.
Do you? Sometimes you say you like things and then you're just about to bash me for something.
No. My passive aggressive ways. No, I actually like it because I was like, wait, ready to think? Does he mean ready to drink? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I
ready
get
to
it.
think, ready to drink. RTD. It's a pun. I like that. That's very young Harry-ish. That's Harry 2010, Let's bring back Harry 2010. Why
That
not?
was before my time, so I hope that was.
We don't want
was
Harry
good, Harry.
2010. No, thank
yeah,
you.
we know.
Unsubscribe.
Nobody is asking for that.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I came into Harry 2000. Well, no. I met you in 2010. I started working for you in 2011 officially. So,
yeah.
Same. So no.
Yeah.
I joined 2014 and Harry was around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Around is a strong word.
Yeah.
It depends on the year.
Yeah. I work every other year. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Even number years. So I guess I'm working this year. Or if Jen has a baby, then, I have to kind of show up.
We're done with that.
Good.
I can promise you.
I mean, not good.
We're done with that.
I didn't mean it that way.
No.
I'm not allowed to say that.
I would have loved to have had a third, but that's not happening.
You know what? I had 3 and it's not worth it. I love YY. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, he's your favorite. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, I just wish I hadn't had, Harrison or Hunt. I'm just kidding. I love all 3 of my boys. All 3 of them. So I saw that big investment from Molson Coors into Zoa. That was one of our predictions that they're going to clean up the capital structure of Zoa. I think that's in play. I actually said this in my little talk to BeatBox last week. They were asking me about Zoa, and I was like, just Ghost did it right. You got to give Brendan props where it's due because that was his baby, and Ghost has done really well. And energy drinks are kind of like spirits. They're very profitable, but they're hard to break into. But if you do break it into it, it's just gravy. It's just gravy. Speaking of BeatBox, they had a kind of a distributor council meeting in Austin last week. Jen and I we didn't attend, but we were there for parts of it. And Jen, what were your takeaways from, we weren't there at the same time. So you were there the first day and I was there the second day.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized how big they are. And it really seems they're just hitting on all cylinders, right? What were your impressions?
Yeah, I mean, they've had a couple of really great years since they moved to beer networks, right? And they're doing crazy good in California with AB1. They're up like 300%. But it's funny because just to play devil's advocate, Jordan and I kind of talk about, well, who drinks it? Because we never actually see anyone drinking it. But they were presenting things like, they have such a stronghold on like festivals and things like that young, super loyal consumer in that particular occasion. And I think they skew Gen Z and, millennial and that sort of thing. So that was interesting. And, they're kind of in a class of their own. So, we had written something about their share of RTD, but they were like, no, that's Beyond Beer. So I think in Beyond Beer, they have like a 3 share, but if RTD, they have a 6 share. And then if you get into singles, it's even higher. And then if you get on some AB trucks, it's even higher. So like they have quite an interesting niche.
Yeah. I mean, I kept calling it an F&B, but really it's wine based.
Yeah.
And that's been a little bit of a challenge for them but I think they've gotten that all. It's funny. Justin said that really AB's Babe wine cleared the way for them. Remember Babe, the wine in a can that AB sold? Because it forced all the AB network to get wine licenses and to, get their head around selling wine.
Yeah.
And it's right in the wheelhouse of what's growing. It's sweet, it's high ABV, it's single serve, it's resealable, it's in Tetra Pak, which is, recycle. I mean, it's everything that Gen Z is looking for. But you're right. I don't see anybody drinking it. I think it's smart. They have the music festival kind of vibe going, if you will, even though, how big can that be? But, like it's kind of like Corona has the beach.
Mm-hmm.
BeatBox has music. Even if you've never been to a music festival, it's just a vibe, just.
And Darties. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
and Darties and Borgs.
And Borgs.
Borgs.
It's all in the wheelhouse. There was a wholesaler that spoke right before me who I won't name him because he was hilarious. He's in, I don't want to say where he is, but the guy, he probably wouldn't care, but he was like, because by the way, BeatBox has a $12 gross margin. I mean,
yeah, they've got a crazy.
It's huge. I remember when Red Bull came in and it was $8 and everybody freaked out. A $12 margin plus, if you meet your goal, you get huge incentives that the distributor can do whatever they want with. And this one distributor's like, they got hundreds of $1,000s in incentive money because they exceeded their goal. And he's like, the company kept half and we gave the other half to our salesman.
Nice.
And he's like, we put a rack in an account and like a 5-case rack. And he goes, it just sells out and sells out. And he's like, we need to put more racks out there. And then he's like, I don't buy 5-case racks anymore. Screw that. I'm only buying 10 crates racks because if you're going to sell 5, anyway, I don't know why he was hilarious. I wish you were there.
Well, we were talking about Gen Z, but I think I remember hearing them say that their demographic has become a little older than they had anticipated.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it.
And
really?
Yeah. And I think it's kind of in that same vein as Buzzballs and almost like a Geloso on the F&B side. They kind of are in between there where maybe you don't see a lot of people drink it, but every time you look at the sales of those suppliers, I mean, it's just growing and growing and growing. And when you see BeatBox, sometimes it's not even cold. It's just on a rack like you were talking about, Harry, kind of like what you see with Buzzballs. And it's just, oh, that looks like a cool package. It's 11%. So I'm just going to grab one. And then I'm sure once they have one person buying it, they're just hooked. So,
right. And then they go to Walmart and get a multi-pack because remember they launched Walmart years ago and it was a failure. And Justin and Brad, or one of them, was saying, you don't get a second chance often at Walmart. And so they're dedicated to make it work this time. And apparently it's doing well. It's interesting that AB1 distributes them in California. You don't see the brewery really. Biscuit. Hey, Millicent. You don't see the brewery. You don't see AB1 taking on brands like that. You wonder if that maybe it's an acquisition target down the road. I don't know.
They do have
on the other hand,
wholesalers.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because AB, there were some people from AB1 in the room, and I was saying some things about like Anheuser-Busch this and Anheuser-Busch that. And I forgot that Anheuser-Busch is in the room.
Yeah.
So when the guy asked me a question, I was like, oh, by the way, I take back everything I said about AB.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding.
They have done a phenomenal job in leveraging distribution because they started with wine spirits and then they figured out, oh no, beer wholesalers are where it's at. And then they made other moves recently, moving from Molson Coors and into AB because they saw the hunger there in AB houses and said, okay, there's no Babe, Molson Coors are, it's a little cushy right now, and they've got their own things. And AB is looking for something to drive some growth. And
Anything. Yeah.
and and it worked out. I mean, it was a fantastic move for them last year and into this year as well.
Yeah. And
Well,
you know what, Harry, you mentioned Walmart. They have a huge push in Walmart this year. I don't know if you mentioned that. And I just pulled up the stat. They have 19 share of RTD singles.
in
Six
Walmart?
share of no. Overall, they have 19 share of RTD singles.
Oh, wow. That's
And
high.
beyond that, they've got a huge push in Walmart. Yeah, and 3 share
Wow.
of Beyond Beer singles, 6 share of RTDs, 19 share of RTD singles, which is, C-store is huge, right? So it's a nice place to be.
Right. It's definitely biscuit quick. It's definitely y'all hear her drinking water.
No.
No,
Okay,
I
good.
can't.
This mic is good at filtering out. Anyway, yeah, they've done a great job. I've heard through the grapevine that Reyes regrets giving them up, especially in California. So
Well,
what can
Yeah.
you do?
yeah.
What can you do? I think Reyes is going to be fine though, don't y'all?
Yeah.
They'll make it.
I think they're going to make it. They do have Constellation.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, anything else? We got a lot of earnings calls. We got AB. We got Boston
Monster.
Beer. AB is going to be just on fire. I cannot wait to see what happens there. I mean, there's
I,
so many things to talk about on that call.
and I wonder when do you guys think we're going to hear about what happens? Do you think it's going to be at midnight on the 28th? Do you think, or midnight on the 11 p.m. on the 29th, right? Like, I wonder when it's coming through, whichever way it goes,
Jen, I am fascinated too, because, the thinking goes, you want to have that locked down before the call.
Yeah.
That's when the union has the most leverage.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, by the way, to end their contract on the same day as their
earnings.
their earnings call, because
I don't know that they plan. I don't know if you can plan that far in advance. Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I don't
Maybe.
know either, but damn.
Do you think Michelle's in Belgium or is he
I think he's
bellying
in New
up?
York.
No, he's in. Yeah, I would be in New York if I were him. Just
Mhm.
in the war room. I mean, remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all don't remember, but they had this kind of war room where this was back when Brito was kind of running things, and they had that PR firm always on call. What was it called? Like Jackson Hilliard or something. Anyway, now I'm just rambling like the old man that I am. So, anything else that I'm forgetting?
Well, we had the FTC suit against the Kroger-Albertsons merger yesterday.
Yeah, what's up with that? What has Bill, your husband Bill,
Is Bill
famously,
working?
yeah, he's famously covering those retailers, isn't he?
Yeah.
Does he have any remarks on the side when he doesn't know that you have your recorder on and you're taking notes?
I think that might be illegal, but anyway, I think you asked him at the summit, and he was like, "It's not going to happen." I mean, it's certainly a high wall to climb, right? They're divesting of like 400 stores to CNS, which it's funny because in the suit the FTC filed, the FTC was basically like, CNS is bollocks. They can't run a grocery store to save their life.
Wait,
I mean,
who is
read
CNS?
it. It's heavily redacted, but that's basically what they say. And it seems like it's going to be a much, much higher ask. It's also funny that Kroger and Albertsons are like, oh, this will be good for consumers. When has a mega merger ever been good for consumers? Has it happened once? Like,
Jen, you don't know. You don't
okay.
know.
Yeah, you don't either, or you would tell me.
Listen, as long as my HEB stays independent,
Right.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I get a delivery once a week. I love their people. I love their listen to me go on and on. I can go on and on about HEB. They're like Publix in Florida. You have your hometown grocery.
Right. Oh yeah, HEB is the best.
It is the best.
I'll tell you what. Here's my prediction. If Biden doesn't get reelected and Trump comes into office, I'd say it has a much better chance of happening.
Yeah, I'd say so too. But I don't. Honestly, is it even good for them? Like, does two shitty businesses make one big shitty business? That's the question.
Yeah.
It just seems like that big giant grocery model. You're right in the middle. You got Walmart pressuring you from this side, and then you got the strong regionals like HEB and Publix pushing you on the bottom. Then you got like Whole Foods and Amazon in the middle. It's like, why would you go to an Albertsons? Like, what? Am I missing something here? I don't want to piss off anybody.
I think
Yeah.
we're too spoiled down here with
Yeah.
HEB.
I guess
So,
so.
so that never crosses the mind. I mean, even the people in Dallas, they don't even have that luxury. They have to go to Kroger. So
Or Dallas.
one last thing I wanted to add is looking at scans, April can't come soon enough. I think it's about to get even uglier over March because what looks to me like is happening is AB's declines are they're not budging.
Yeah.
And where that is going now is being spread throughout all of beer or elsewhere. And we always kind of thought, you know, where is this going? But now I think that what Molson Coors and Pabst and Yingling are picking up is now kind of thinning out. We're not offsetting those declines, or it's really tiny people. I mean, you think about premium light, that's kind of like the last bit of loyalty in beer, I think. You know, people are Bud Light drinker, Coors Light drinker. Elsewhere, if you're drinking craft or F&Bs, you're going across everything. And so now that they've kind of had some time to step away from the brand they grew up on and explore, they're just kind of still figuring things out. And I really think it has started to shift away from the immediate replacement and onto broader bev alc.
Do you think
F&Bs,
spirits or
spirits, F&Bs, maybe even wine? So it's curious to me that it's mostly the softness is in C stores where we've been doing is, hailing C stores. We love you, C stores. C stores are rocking. I mean, they're going against a tough comp, I guess, but AB over indexes in C stores, obviously. And yeah, I don't know what's going on. Did people go out during the Super Bowl? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, losing 5 share, that there's a lot up for grabs. And the big brewers are the only ones that can really gobble that up with any significance because of their size. And it just doesn't seem to be happening right now.
At least the two largest brewers, AB and Molson Coors, are just set up perfectly for production. So that won't be an issue. They don't have that to worry about. Oh, wait. I mean, this could be I hate to go back to 1976 and 77, but the beer industry changed forever.
Yeah.
Then,
You said AB fell from 30 something share to 19 share or something, right?
Yeah, it was 20 something to 19. They ended up getting it back, but this is a terrible timing for them. I tell you, terrible timing. What can you do? You know what? You can't fence time.
Do you guys ever wonder what would happen if you could see the future and then you tried to tell everybody about it, like how they would react? Like, let's say me from a month from now was like, oh, this is what happens with the strike. And I'm like, cool, guys, this is what happens. And you guys are like, well, how did you know that? And then it ends up happening. And then like I get thrown in jail.
I mean, if you do have that knowledge, Jen, I would just tell me. and I could guide you through some stock trades.
Yeah. Let me
through my sons.
I've thought about that. And maybe not even predicting the whole Mulvaney thing, but just telling people, oh yeah, Bud Light will be declining 29-30% week after week after week. Right. I mean, those are numbers you couldn't have dreamed of. Speaking of dreams, Jen, you and I were in class last night.
Who?
With all of me and you.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, with all of my high school peers. Paul Pisano was the teacher, and we were doing a murder mystery exercise that we had like 30 minutes on and had to turn in right after.
That is amazing. You know where that came from, right, Jordan?
Wait, what are y'all talking about?
This is my dream last night. Jen and I were in class together, full of my own.
You're talking about your dreams on the podcast? Oh my God. Let's go ahead.
This is why people tune in, Harry. Yes. Yes.
Paul Pisano was the teacher.
Well, I mean, that rings true.
That one makes sense.
Paul is all of ours mentor.
All of ours.
He slides into our emails on a slow news day, and it's like gold.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe y'all should look up. Maybe you should look this up. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. Yep. Well,
well,
Jordan, you know where that came from. It's because we were talking about True Detective.
Oh yeah.
I bet you that's where it came from.
Pisano's the true detective.
He's Jodie Foster, real hardened.
well, I'd love to sit here and just bullshit with you people all day long. But as you know, the beer business never sleeps, and neither do we. So let's knuckle down, buckle down, champ at the bit, chomp at the bit, whatever you want to call it. This is a big week for us, and I love big, busy weeks. Don't y'all? It's just fun. So, all right. Well, thanks for being on, guys. We will shout at you. Well, we have another podcast, I think, later this week, or we're going to release one later this.
Yeah, we're going to release one on Friday with Rob Todd.
Great. That was a great podcast. Loved hearing from Paul. And then don't we have somebody else scheduled, or did I see that or not?
We have June Shine, but I don't think we're going to pod it.
Oh, June Shine. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Take care. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.